Hi everybody, welcome to my tutorial of putting this gorgeous loaded love letter together. I just want to make sure it is recording. What I did do is I made a video for you guys and showed you the loaded love letter that I created for Steph, and you know what, I really did like it, but I wanted to do something even more bigger. So I decided to create my own design of the loaded love letter. Okay, now I absolutely love the way this turned out. You have still got room in there to put goodies in between the layers. Okay, plenty of room in there. All right, so and then at the end of the day too, you've got, if you don't want to give it away and you want to make something special for your desk or, you know, as a display, you've got it sitting there, which is absolutely stunning. So I'll keep this on my desk. I kept it on my Kallax unit, but I really like it, so I keep it on the desk where I can see it every day. Love the way it turned out. I used a lot of Iron Roses flowers here, a lot of my bling. I used the Tim Holtz die, dress form die, put some ribbon on her, used my Creative Time die, bow die, which this one is the small one. Used a lot of cutouts from the collection. I used two collections. The first one was, let me guess, what was it? Rosabelle, and the other one was, for the papers, was Wild and Free. Okay, and all I did do is use different dies to create accents along, like the Flourish die, which I had, that was my favourite things. Then I created layers along the sides there as well, which gives it a bit more dimension too. Added some metal key and, you know, some metal up here as well, because I had the rose gold foil along here. I wanted to carry it, or copper, I wanted to carry it all the way through. I think it's rose gold, this one. So I wanted to carry it all the way through the project, and, you know, I added pearls, added flowers, added you know, some ribbons, and by the time you get it all together, it is absolutely stunning. Now, what I would suggest too for you guys is have some embellishments ready in a bag, right? But like, decorate the front of it. So if you were to send it and put goodies in it, have some embellishments as well added to it, so when the person receives it, after they take out all the gorgeous goodies that you've sent them, they've got little bits and pieces which they can build upon to make this a stand for their craft room, and it'll look really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to show you the tutorial on how I put this together. So I'll put some still shots in the video as well. I did make this video beforehand, but for some reason, I don't know, my videos ended up turning out to be over 2 gig, hence why they weren't uploading, and I exceeded my upload data, and oh my gosh, what a nightmare. So hopefully I'm using my Samsung camera, and it's the Galaxy camera. It's the one with the touch screen sort of thing on it. So I'm hoping that this works. I filmed with this camera before and it uploaded no problem. So I'm fingers crossed. Okay, so first of all, you're going to need 4 sheets of 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. Now, you'll need 12 by 12 papers for this. Okay, you can use A4 papers. The only reason why I say you'll need 12 by 12 papers is when we actually put the pockets in it, the offcut that you get that's left over from the 12 by 12, you'll use it up with, like, you'll use it up creating these pockets. Okay, whereas with the 8 by, is it the 8 by 8? Yeah, 8 by 8, you're not going to have those. Okay, so what I did do is I used my Wild and Free A4 paper, and then I used a 12 by 12 sheet of the Rosabelle collection. Okay, So you'll need 4 of these. You'll need 4 envelopes if you're doing it just with envelopes, or if you're using a scoreboard like myself here, like your envelope punch board, then you will need 4 sheets of these, okay? So you line it up at 3 3/8. Just going to punch, okay, and then we're going to go around. So I filmed this video so many times, oh my gosh. Now, when you go around the first punch you make, you'll have a line across there. So just follow the speech bubble and the point of the speech bubble line up with that line, and just keep on rotating around until you've got all sides covered, okay? Then the back of it, or you can use a corner around it, just punch around the page there. Okay. I'll get rid of these. It's hard to get rid of this off the mat there, the non-stick mat. I must get, I've got my beautiful white IKEA desk, but I really need to maybe put something else, foam core board on top or something with a pretty paper or whatever rather than this mat. But I like this mat for when I'm using hot glue. It serves my purpose really well. Okay, so what you'll do is fold them over, and just be careful of the direction of your papers. Not that you'll see it, but you want to have the direction of your papers for the top one. You want to have that right. So what I did do is I knew I wanted this bit here up at the top to fold down, okay? So I went, and which way did I rotate it? I've done it on this side, so it's at the top right hand side corner. And I've done my 3 3/8 and punch from there, so that when I fold that down, that is going to come down like that. All right. And I'm not sure if you guys can see it. I've done it in this envelope as well. All right. Now what I did do too is I'm going to glue this down, but I left that bit open so you guys can see. So I'm going to glue that down because mine's going to be a display. It's not going to be given to anybody. Okay. So I'm going to glue that down, and you know, it should eventually stick down. And like I said, this is a great way to decorate your craft room because you can use your bits and pieces that you've already got. You don't need to go out and buy new collections or whatever. Just use what you have. Okay. Then I am going to find my glue. And I put it right behind there. Sorry, guys. Okay. So what you want to do is seal it down. Okay. Just the corners here, because like I said, you guys will probably use it as a gift. All right. Don't seal all of these down just yet, because there is something else that you need to put inside. Okay. So I've done these. Here's something I prepared earlier. I've created these envelopes here. Did I do 2 the same? Oh, bugger. Oh, it doesn't matter. I left them unsealed, so I've got 4 of them. Okay, I'm going to keep my top one to one side. What you're going to do is, if I can find, yeah, all right. So with my chipboard, and you will need chipboard for this because we're going to make a stand as well, okay? But these are for the inside of your envelopes. Depending on how thick your chipboard is, you will need 1 or 2 pieces, and you're going to add them into your envelopes, because what we want to do is make them loaded up. You're going, well, why are you doing that if we're going to put gifts in it? Well, it's not going to go in these envelopes, okay? So you will essentially put them in all of them, and this gives it a bit of sturdiness too to the project as well. I'll put 2 in that one. Okay, and then after you've done that, then you can seal it. All right, so I'm gonna make a mess because of course I'm on camera. Okay, make sure that's all nicely sealed. This one here. Wonderful. This one too. Look the other way. Yeah. Sorry, no, probably out of frame too. All right. So once you've got those sealed, we'll put these to one side. Okay. Make sure you have everything cut out, if possible. So what you'll need is your 8 1/4 by 8 1/4 cardstock, your designer paper, or you can use cardstock, totally up to you. You'll need 4 by 6 cards, chipboard pieces, and depending on the thickness, you might want 1 or 2. You will need, I should have done this at the beginning, you'll need 3 pieces of chipboard, okay? One, oh, good Lord, didn't I put the measurement on that one? That'd be right. One is, you have 2 pieces at 3 by 5 3/4. Now, I did have another piece, just bear with me, guys, which I have no idea where it went. Okay, so you've got 3 by 5 3/4, so you'll need 2 pieces only. Then you'll need another piece, which will be 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. So let me see, yeah, 5 3/4. This is going to create your stand. Okay, so 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. Then you will need piece measuring, I think that's 3 inches. Yeah, 3 inches by 9 1/4. Okay, 3 inches by 9 1/4. And you will need, I think I only used 1 2 3 pieces, so just bear with me. 1 2 3. Yeah, I think I used 3. Just for now, cut out 3 only. All right. Then you'll also need a piece of paper, which is 10 1/2 by 7. Okay, so it's 10 1/2 this way by 7 across. All right, so they're all the things that you're going to need, and obviously your envelope punch board, some glue, some tape. All right, so now that we've got our envelopes done, we're going to create the stand. All right, now what I want to do, excuse me, oh, there you go, I found the other piece. Alrighty, so I'll just move those out the way, get the right pieces that I need for this one. So you're going to create the stand, you're going to lay your paper down flat. Alright, then what you're going to do is add your tape, and for the purpose of the camera, I know you're all gasping because I'm tearing it off. I usually do cut it, but I don't want to make this video too long. Okay. Do all your prep work early before you start putting things together. It just makes it a lot easier, which I should have done this beforehand, but you know how it is. Always the way when we film, it doesn't go as planned. Just when I thought I had everything done, I didn't. Alrighty, so the pieces that you've got, make sure this is all secured down, and you can put more tape on there. I'm not going to do that just for the sake of the video. Okay, the pieces that you've got, use your bigger pieces first. So your 3 by 5 3/4 you're going to need first. Get that off. Okay. And this one. All right. So you're going to center that and leave a bit of a border around the edges there. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. And try and get it stuck down as straight as you can. Then you're going to get your centerpiece, which is the 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. And you're actually going to stick that down next to this big piece. But what you're going to do is leave a bit of a gap there, because what we want to do is be able to fold it. Okay. So I'm just going to leave maybe 1/8 of an inch gap. Okay, so as you can see, we'll be able to fold this over. Just make sure that they're not butting against each other, otherwise it's not going to work. It'll crack your cardstock. Just got to move this one over a smidge. You'll be able to tell when you put it up like that whether it's folding one edge or not of the chipboard. Now we're going to stick the third piece down. Okay. Alrighty. And we're going to do the same thing, eyeball it, or you can measure it, totally up to you. Make sure they're all the same. Okay, so you'll end up with a triangle. Okay, then what we want to do, we've got one side which will have more of a lip. Don't do anything to that side. These edges here, we can just miter the corners. Okay. I eyeball it, people measure it, totally your choice. All right, then what I want to do is fold over these edges like this, and then I'm going to add glue, because I found that the wet glue holds for me a lot better, especially in the climates that we have here in Australia as well. So, okay, I'm going to fold that over. Alright. Now before I fold this piece over, I am going to take the corner sides out. So miter both of those corners out. Okay, once again we will add our glue or tape. I use score tape. This is great score tape as well. But like I said, I found that the wet glue, especially my art glitter glue, which I use a lot of, that actually does the trick as well. And you can get your bone folder and make sure that is stuck down. Okay, and we'll do the other side. And I hope this films and uploads. Okay. I mean, you've got to, it takes a lot of time to do these videos and what have you, and it's disheartening when you can't get it uploaded ready for people to watch it, you know. All right, so we've got that now. Okay, then what I'm going to do, I'm not going to tape this bit just yet because that'll fold over. What I want to do is glue down these pieces which I have cut out. Okay, so I measured the chipboard pieces and what have you. You don't need to decorate the inside if you don't want to, because you won't see it if it's facing forward. But when people look at it, you want to have a nice finished look. So I cut my pieces down to the same width of the chipboard and just a little bit shy of it. Okay, so, you know, 2 3/4 by 5 3/4 for the center one. So cut them, you know, the same size as your chipboard, and you can layer it on top. What we don't want to do is we don't want to cover where the spaces are, okay, because that allows for your paper to crack too. and you don't want that. You want a nice finish to it. Okay, we'll do that, and then I will do that there. Like I said, you probably won't see it, and depending, you could use a white chipboard as well on the inside, so you wouldn't need to, you know, cover it up as such. All right, and I hope I'm in frame with everything. Oh, and move that up because I just didn't do that one right. I mainly wanted to get this part covered up because, no, I don't think I would see the inside of that one. No, that won't matter. Okay. Alrighty. Now we've got those glued down, what you want to do is fold it up, put these two pieces together like this, and then fold the lip over. And this bit you want to glue down. Okay, so I'm going to add glue and adhere that. Okay, and I'll glue that down. Make sure it is adhered really well. Okay, because like I said, that would be the part that's going to hold your envelopes together. Okay, all right, so we'll put that to one side. So we've created this now. This is our stand. Okay, then what you're going to do is you'll cut out 3 pieces of 3 by 9 1/4, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2 inches on both ends. Okay, then what I did do is, what did I do on this one? Okay, so I folded the top bit in, went in and across like that. So you've got your concertina, look there, and they're going to create your pockets. Okay, now I did fold those in. Right, so you'll have it that way, and they're your pockets. All right, so we will grab our envelopes now. Now, instead of stacking my envelopes like on top of each other and, you know, going one direction, another direction and what have you, we're going to layer. We're going to have them layered against each other like this. So we're kind of creating a cascade with these envelopes, okay, which will essentially give you this dimension. All right, so we'll get that started. We'll put the pockets on. Now, what I want to do is, oh gosh, I love this and I hate covering it up. I want to turn the envelopes around so that the flat side is facing you. Okay, so now it doesn't matter if they're just shy of the actual envelope. You can have it so that it's edge to edge, but the reason why I've done that is so that I can tuck more bits and pieces in the sides here. It's a bit harder when you got an edge to edge. To tuck things in, you've got to cut them down even more so. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on this outer edge. So what you want is your little hinges there, which we will call the concertina bits. You want them facing in towards each other. Okay, so they're your top bits and you're going to glue down. Okay. Then you are going to glue the bit down here. And I'll show you another little trick which I learnt when I was creating this as well. So get it right down to the bottom. Okay. Then what you will do on this bit here, you're just going to stick a little bit of glue down the bottom, a little bit of glue down there as well. Okay. I'm going to hold these down.